6 seconds. Hello, everybody. Is anybody there? This is my first live. I'm so excited and nervous and everything at the same time. So, is anybody there? It says 0 right now. Well, maybe it's a little early. So, how are you guys? Well, there's nobody there. So, oh, there's one person. Hi, Fly with Lucas. Hello. I was just saying it's my first live stream, and so we're playing it by ear. Oh, and Noah B is there too. Very cool, very cool. 2 people. Yes. I'm happy. I'm happy. So, yeah. I want to do this more often because I think it's a great opportunity to communicate with you guys. And if you have any questions, and I think it's good to share all the answers with everybody because most people have the same or similar questions, So I think it's very interesting to be able to do something like this. Tell me where you guys are watching me from. I'm in Germany right now. Where are you guys from? Where are you calling me from? Germany! Also, great. Excelente. Hanau, wow. Denmark. Oh, that's great. I love the world. I think you guys can tell. And I get very excited when everybody gets together, so it's really cool. Yeah, so I was saying, sometimes people laugh if like you have a silly question, because oh, how could you not know how to find your seat on a plane, things like that. Well, there are a lot of people who don't know how to do that. You know, a lot of us have been lucky enough to travel all our lives or to travel every once in a while. Oh, Brazil, cool. And but not everybody has been that lucky. I think I've been so fortunate because at the age of 5, my parents put me on an airplane, and that sort of started the whole journey. From India, I'm a big fan of impeccable style of making videos. So I hope my live is just as good because I'm used to chop, 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 edit, edit, edit. Cool, you'll be in Germany for the first time next week. Well, enjoy your stay in Germany. I'm sure you will love it. I like it here. It's nice. Yeah. So as I was saying, a lot of people haven't had this opportunity. And so if I could share the information I've gathered through all these years, well, it's wonderful. I mean, this whole MuchoHop thing has really changed my life, and it gives me joy. It gives me joy to be able to help people with things that for a lot of us are like secondhand. It's no big deal. But for others, it's complicated. They don't know. They get scared about going on an airplane, and they don't know what to expect. And what if I get lost in an airport? Or, where do I get my tickets? How do I get my boarding pass? Will I be charged for it? Which airline is the best? There's so many questions. There's so many doubts. And because I've been traveling for such a long time, like I said, my parents put me on an airplane. It's like, go. At the age of 7, they did that. So imagine, I've really been on a lot of airplanes. But still, I don't consider myself an expert because every flight is different. And you always learn. I'm always learning. I'm learning from you guys. I make lots of mistakes. I even break a shoulder in an airport. I'm really good at this. But I'm always learning. And sometimes things aren't always the same. Hi, everybody. Lufthansa is the best. I like Lufthansa. Yeah, I do. I do like it. But, I haven't really had... well, I don't want to say I haven't had terrible experiences with certain airlines, but I think in general, I think the key is to know like what the regulations are of each airline, and then you won't have any problems. Like I think most of the problems that people have with Ryanair is because they haven't read the regulations. You know, if you read what their policies are, the baggage policies, simply like the measurements of the suitcases. That's it. You know, it's like if you know that, you won't have a problem when you go and board the plane or check in, because your suitcase will be the size that they want your suitcase to be, or that fits in their plane. You know, it's sometimes it's as easy as that, or to like save money and not have an overload, you know. Algeria. Oh, thank you for loving my videos. I'm gonna start blushing. So the other day I was reading a comment and somebody asked me something that some people might say, oh, it's such a silly question. But if you start thinking about it, he was asking me, and I'm going to say hi to Elias. This was on my Spanish channel, but you know, everybody has the same question: Spanish, English, German, whatever. It's all the same. And he was asking me, where do I get an airplane ticket? How do I buy online? And tell me how you guys like, how do you get your airplane tickets? What I always do is I go to the search engines. My first search engine that I go to is Kayak. I always go to Kayak first because they compare the prices, and I've had really good results with them. And it's I always get like the lowest. Well, I can't say I always get the lowest price, but at least I get like a first impression of what is available, and then I start searching. Then I start doing my research. You know, I'm a scientist, so I like to do research. All right. So I start with Kayak, and then let's say Kayak says there's a really good flight with Iberia. Okay. Then I would go to the Iberia website and then compare the price there. Google Flights. You know, I haven't really looked into Google Flights. I have to check that out. I have to look into that. So then, like, I go to the Iberia website, and then I see what prices they have, and I compare to the price that is on Kayak, for example. Excuse me. I do this all the time, and there's such discrepancies from one place to another. Like yesterday, we were looking for a flight for Christmas, for example, and there were only 3 flights available. And mind you, there are a lot more because it was going to Santiago de Compostela, and there are tons of flights to Santiago. And there were only 3, and the prices were outrageous, like over 1,000, which is ridiculous considering when I go on Ryanair, for example, I pay less than 100. And when I go on Lufthansa, I pay maybe 100 and something, 200. So it was crazy. Let me get a drink. Anyway. Okay. Excusez-moi. So you really have to do your research, and you really have to compare, and then get, it's just iced tea. It's not, you know, it's just iced tea that I made. They're asking me what I'm drinking. So yeah, definitely compare. Let me tell you a story, something that happened to me on Lufthansa. You know, I have a video on premium economy. I love premium economy, but the time I went on premium economy on Lufthansa, I had gotten it through a travel agent. And I don't remember the exact price because I didn't book it myself, but it was like 50, 100 euros more, something like that. And then when I went on my own to look it up on the Lufthansa website, it was like a lot more. And then through time, I started looking to see, you know, the different prices. And sometimes it was like maybe 500 more, or other times it was like 1,000 more. It was a lot, right? But once, premium economy was actually cheaper than economy, which makes absolutely no sense. But these airlines, they're businesses, and let's say they have extra seats and they want to get rid of them, and maybe they have a sale. Like, I personally don't know when these sales go on. If anybody knows, please tell me. But it was cheaper than the economy. And you're like, wait a minute, this is a little crazy. And if I was just like researching, I was just looking, but I wasn't going to book anything then, but I would have booked it. And imagine premium economy would have been cheaper than economy. I mean, that's, it doesn't make sense. But that's the thing about when you buy a ticket you have to go now. That's the thing about when you buy an airplane ticket on a website, online, because sometimes you're going to get one rate and other times you're going to get another one. So you really have to shop around, compare like on Expedia, compare on, like I said, I always start with Kayak. And then go to the individual airlines, okay? And that's how you get your best deal. And also notice, like I usually get it like people say that on Tuesdays or on Wednesdays it's cheaper. Yeah, I don't know about these things. I mean, there are people who actually study this, I guess, for a living, but when I need a flight, I just get the flight and I try and get the cheapest available. That's what I do. Okay. So, well, that's the system. Sell more premium economy tickets, so they slash the prices. Exactly. So if the system projects economy to be full, then they try to sell more premium economy. Exactly. That totally makes sense. But when you see like the prices are like really crazy, I also recommend to go incognito. So I do, because like, all right, listen, there's so much to talk about. If you're looking for a flight, and let's say today's Tuesday, you look for a flight on Tuesday, then on Wednesday you look for the same flight, the price is going to be higher. Most likely the price is going to be higher. All right. You look on Thursday, the price might even be higher. So, but if you go incognito, meaning like undercover, like you're not logged in with your personal name, sometimes the prices are a lot lower. So once you find that low price, then you log into your profile, what's it called? Your with your name. And then see if that price is still available, and then book it then. So you really have to play with this. You really have to play and check one, check another, and then in time you'll know like what to expect. Like I always know what to expect with Ryanair because I fly with them so many times, and with Lufthansa too. Like if I see a flight on Ryanair for 200 euros, I'm like, no, unless I have to. If I have to, I have to, but usually, when I book with Ryanair, for example, the flights are much cheaper, unless it's around a holiday or whatever, like I said, it's never 100% this or 100% that, so shop around, and like I said, start with a search engine and then go to the individual website of the airline, okay, and compare the prices. So that's what I recommend. How much time on an average does it take from landing at Frankfurt Airport at around 7:30 a.m. and clearing immigration and reach the airport long distance rail station? Okay. It depends. Everything, when you fly and you're at an airport, everything always depends. Because sometimes I go through security, for example, it takes me 5 minutes. Other times I go through security and it takes me an hour and a half. and I missed my flight, which I'll have that video coming up pretty soon. That's when I broke my shoulder. It was this one, yeah. So everything always depends. Clearing immigration, like I said, if like a whole bunch of planes arrive at the same time, there's going to be a backup of people at immigration, and so it's going to take much longer than if only 5 planes come. You know what I mean? That happens everywhere. That happens in Miami. That happens in Germany, in Frankfurt. So, but I can tell you, for example, usually it's like could be 15 minutes or 5. It depends on how many people are there. But from the time also, if you if you arrive in Frankfurt Airport at one of the gates that are like really far away from where you have to go to immigration, or the exit that goes to the railway station, if you're really far away, it can take you well more than a half an hour just to get to the immigration, because there are areas that are about 1.5 kilometers to walk. In my last video, the gate was A40, I remember, in Terminal 1, and it said that it was 1.5 kilometers. And so it always depends. If you arrive at A2, that's going to take a lot less time than if you arrive at A40. You get it? It's always, there's so many factors that you have to take into account, or that are taken into account, that that you really can't plan too much ahead. I always give myself extra time just in case. Just in case something comes up, or there's a lot of people there, or a lot of planes arrive, or whatever, or the gate is really far away. So I always go with extra time, and also because I have to film, so it's always good to have extra time. So let's just say from the time you arrive until the railway station, an hour at least. All right, let's just say an hour, because you also have to buy your ticket. You have to go to the railway station, so it's gonna take time, or at least an hour. And then if there's a lot of people at immigration, then it might take a little bit longer. All right. So that was all right. So that was like that was answering how do I buy an airplane ticket online. All right. So I go through the search engines, and then I go to the individual airlines. That's how I do it personally. The next question that this Elias had was, all right, once I have my ticket, then what do I do? Okay. Once you buy a ticket online, you get a confirmation. All right. You get an email saying that your ticket was booked, and all the information. And the most important thing on that ticket, well, make sure the information is correct, obviously, is a number, like your booking reference number. It's usually like 5 digits. Sometimes it's a combination of letters and numbers. And that's the number that's going to be used if you have to make any changes, or if you log into the Lufthansa Air website. That's the number they're going to ask you to like pick out your flight details, and then you can the booking code. Thank you so much, Noah, because the brain sometimes doesn't work that well, you know. So the booking code, exactly. So that's the number that you go into the Lufthansa Air website, and they're going to ask you for your booking code, and usually like your name, and you put those details, and then your reservation will come out. And there you can make changes. You can select your seat. You can check in. You can get your boarding passes. You can make any of those changes because you put in your booking code, and you see your reservation right there. Or just simply to look at the times, because sometimes you look at so many flights that you don't remember which one you actually booked. That happens to me all the time. Yes. Or what day am I flying? That's another one. Yeah. So that's what you do. Once you book your flight, you go to the you get a confirmation of your booking, and then you can see all your information, your booking information, and you can make changes on the website of the company, of the airline. Now, if you book through a search engine, which it's a little bit more complicated because if you want to make a cancellation, you don't cancel directly with Lufthansa. You might have to cancel with the agency that's running that's managing that. So I always try and book with the actual airline. I prefer doing that, just in case I have to make any cancellations, or like I remember once I had booked through I don't know if it was eDreams, or I don't know. I think it was eDreams. Actually, I think it was eDreams. And with eDreams, I had found a flight from a company or an agency or whatever they're called that starts with an A. I had never heard of it. And then I finally had to cancel that flight. And to locate those people was not the easiest thing because it wasn't Lufthansa, Iberia, or British Airways or whatever. It was this company that started with an A, and they didn't have a phone number. So I had to do some research. I finally got my money back, but it wasn't as straightforward as if when you book it with an airline. Okay, so that's the problem with search engines. Be careful with them, please, because if you don't know what that agency is, then, well, not that you can't rely on them. I don't want to say that because I haven't really had problems with them, but it's just easier. Especially if you are new to all this, it's always easier to go with the airline. Okay, so yeah, I want to also mention something about checking in. When there are two types of check-in, let's say, because I've seen that people get confused with checking in at the airport and checking in at home. When you are home and you are checking in to get your boarding passes, okay, this is to confirm that all the information is okay, and yes, I am flying, and I want the little piece of paper or digital, you could get the boarding pass digitally also, that I want that piece of paper so I can go on the plane, or I want that code so I can go on the plane. So that's what checking in is. But people get confused because there's also the checking in when you're at the airport. You go to the airport, you have your suitcase, and you go to the counters, and there you are checking in also. But, technology has changed so much that, oh man, has it changed since I started flying, that now there are different possibilities. Yeah, you can get your boarding pass online. You can get your boarding pass at the machines. There are these machines that are at the airport, and you can get your boarding pass at the counter of the airline. So those are three ways that you can get your boarding pass. And I'm sure there's another one that I don't remember right now. But and you can get it automatically, like Lufthansa does to me. When I have a flight with them, they just send me the boarding pass. It's amazing. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to fuss right before my flight. So that's how you get your boarding pass. But that's if you're at the airport and if you wanna check in. Let's say you have no idea how to do all this. You go to the airport. You booked your flight with a travel agency. Remember those? You booked your ticket, your flight with a travel agency. Then the day of the flight, you go to the airport. You have your suitcase. You go to the counter. They give you your boarding pass. They take your suitcase, and that's it. And then you go to your gate. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Um, Remember, airports are designed in such a way for people who don't really know that airport. So you just follow the signs and they take you, whether it's immigration or people are always asking me, do I have to go through immigration? Do I have to go through this or that? Don't even think about it. Just follow. I never thought about it until I started with MuchoHop. Because what you do is you just follow the signs and it will lead you to where you have to go. That's how it is. So you really don't have to think much about it. Just follow the signs and go, oh, okay, I have to go to 840. So just follow the signs and you go towards the gate. But nowadays, you can get your boarding pass online. So when I have my boarding pass on my phone, for example, or I have it on a piece of paper, then I go to the airport and I go to the drop off. If I have a suitcase, if to drop off, I go to the drop off. Sometimes it's an automated machine, and other times it's not. So then you just follow the directions on the screen, and they give you this tag for your suitcase. You put it on your suitcase, you put it on the belt, and your suitcase goes, and then you go and follow the signs towards your gate. All right. The other possibility is if you have your boarding pass from home that you got on your phone and on the website, and you have no luggage to check in, no luggage to leave, to go in the hold of the airplane. So you only have carry-on. In that case, all you have to do, you have your boarding pass, all you have to do is go to the gate. All right, that's all you have to do. The other possibility is if you get your boarding pass at the machines. You haven't had time to do it online, or sometimes you can't because depending on the airline, depending on where you're flying, sometimes you cannot check in online. That happens to me when I travel to the States, for example. I can't get my boarding pass. So you go to the machines, and you get your boarding pass there. You put in all your information and you get your boarding pass there. Okay. And then you have carry-on. You go to the gate and you go to A40. We're all going to A40 today, by the way, Terminal 1 at Frankfurt. Oh, that's another thing, that on your booking details, they'll also tell you what terminal you have to go to. That's another question people ask me. How do I know which terminal I have to go to? Well, Lufthansa, for example, at Frankfurt Airport, is at Terminal 1. So like I know it, but let's say you didn't know it. Well, you look it up, you look up Lufthansa, Frankfurt Airport, and it tells you what terminal it's at. So every airline, see it as the airlines have like a parking spot, let's say at the airport, see it as like that. So they park the plane at Terminal 1. But Iberia, for example, parks its planes at Terminal 2. So every airline is at a terminal of an airport. So that's also when you look at the booking information, sometimes they have what terminal you have to go to. Okay, so the third possibility, what was I talking about? Okay, I told you about the counter. I told you about the machines. And that's it. That's it. Yeah, and you get the boarding pass at home. So just remember that checking in is you get your boarding pass online, or at the machines or at the counters, and then you just follow the signs and go towards your gate. But also checking in is also when you leave your bags at the counter or at an automated machine where you just follow the directions, the instructions, and you leave your bag and then you go towards your gate. Okay, so don't confuse those two, because recently somebody asked me about that and she was confusing it. So keep that in mind. Okay, the other question that this person had was, When I get to the airport, do can you please tell about the personal item, small bag that you can carry on Lufthansa flight apart from the cabin baggage? The small bag on Lufthansa? I think it depends also on whether you're going on economy light, economy, and the other one. There are three. So you have to look at the instruction. You have to look at the specifications. It always depends on what you booked, you know? So like with Ryanair, for example, the other day I was flying with Lufthansa. I had economy light, and they only allow 8 kilograms, and no, like no, they do allow a personal bag, but the exact measurements are on the website. Yeah, exactly. Eco light is only 8 kilograms and one personal item. But always look at the specifications, because depending on which one you book, you will be allowed one size or the other, or one weight or the other. So Eco Light is very light. It's only, and I actually filmed a video on this. So the thing is, I'm so behind on editing videos that I'm sorry, but I'll do it. I will be editing. My shoulder is better, so I will be editing. So the third question this person was asking me was, when you arrive to the airport, do I have to print anything? Do I have to print anything when I go to the airport? Nowadays you don't have to print your ticket, because all you have to do is give your name, show ID, and then they find everything on the computer. In the old days, we all had these paper tickets, and you don't need that anymore. That you just say your name, or just show your ID. You don't even have to say anything. So if you don't know the language, you go, yeah, yeah, that's it. You could mumble, you could, it's easier and it's more difficult at the same time. So all you do is show your ID, and then they find your booking, and then they tell you, they give you your boarding pass, or they take your suitcase, and they do it. You don't even have to know these things; they just do it for you. Let me just say what Noah is saying, that Eco Classic carry-on is 8. Exactly. The carry-on on economy light on Lufthansa is 8 kilograms and one personal item. And the suitcase allowed, which is the other level, okay, is 23 kilograms. So, and of course, the more you can carry, the more expensive your ticket is going to be. Why do I get economy light? Because normally I don't have to carry many things. Because if I fly to Spain, I have clothes in Spain. If I fly to Germany, I have clothes in Germany, so I don't have to carry anything. I just have my computer and some cables, and that's basically it. So depending on which class you book, you have certain specifications or requirements, and you pay. The more you carry, the more you pay. All right, so going back to this, Elias's question is, do you have to print anything? So no, you do not have to print your ticket, but you do have to have either a printed version of your boarding pass, or you have to have a digital version. Some airlines, like Ryanair, that we love so much, will actually charge you if you don't print your boarding pass. So always read the specifications of the airline you are flying with. You do not want to be paying for the boarding pass you didn't print out, and then the bag that you didn't book or report to Ryanair, for example. You don't want to pay for, and then maybe they won't accept it because it's too big for a carry-on, for example. So to avoid all these problems and stress, read the specifications of each airline. It's that easy, okay? And usually when you get a confirmation, they already tell you, did you know this? Did you know that? And then they send you reminders via email Did you know of our new policy? Did you know about the requirements of economy light on Lufthansa? So all these things, you have to look these things up because we don't know. Like, imagine I've been flying all my life. You guys know that. But I don't know all the specifications of every airline in the world. And I don't know all the airports in the world. And I don't think anybody does. It's impossible. Well, maybe somebody does know. I don't know. Tell me if you guys know. Anyway, yeah, read a little bit, just to avoid problems, and also I doubt it, yeah, and also go with plenty of time. Go with plenty of time. It's so important. You don't want to be running. I've done this so many times, running from one gate to another, and then they change the gate, and then you have to go to the other extreme of the airport, and then they changed it again, and then you have to go towards the other side. So you don't want to. You want plenty of time so you don't stress out, and you try and make this as enjoyable as possible. And if they change something, just go with the flow. I'm sorry, but you can't change the situation, and you're just going to make yourself sick and nervous and anxious, and you can't change the situation. So just calm down, and there are certain things you will not be able to change, so just accept it. Let's, we're in their hands. We have no other choice. Let's see. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to just briefly talk about is two things: Google Maps and Seat Guru. If you guys want to know what your seat is, let's say you're going to check in and you want to select your seat, and you have all the different possibilities of seats. But let's say you're a tall person, you have very long legs, and you really want a lot of leg room. Go to seatguru.com. They don't pay me to say this. This is something that you learn. And this guy or girl, whoever these people are wonderful, because you can see every single, you put in your flight details and the date you're flying, and they'll tell you what airplane it's going to be and where, and a description of that seat. It's wonderful. For example, the emergency exit seats are narrower than seats maybe further back, but they do have more leg room. But for example, I'm short, and if I have a 10-hour flight, I do not want to be in a narrow seat like this. I don't want to do that. I want to have more room. So I don't go with the emergency row. Also, because you can't have any of your belongings underneath the seat in front of you, because there is no seat in front of you. So they always have to put everything in the overhead, and then when you land and when you take off and when you land, and that's always a pain in the butt. I'm sorry. I said it's always a pain because you always have to stand up, especially if you're by the window seat. Although, well, there's room to move, but still, you always have to put the stuff in the overhead, and then when you take off, and then when you land. So, emergency extra leg room, haha, great. Minds think alike, haha. Seat Guru is awesome. It's really awesome. Another thing that is awesome, in my opinion, is Google Maps. If you want to know how long a flight is, this is really cool. Sometimes, when I'm editing videos and I say, ooh, how long was that flight? Was it 12 hours or was it 14 hours? Well, usually in the information of my videos, it tells me the timestamp when I started filming and when I finished, and all the times of each of the frames. But let's say I don't want to look at that or whatever. I go to Google Maps, and I say, let's say, from Frankfurt Airport to Madrid Airport, right? And I don't remember exactly if it's 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, let's just say. If you pick the option of airplane on Google Maps, it will show you the route and it will tell you how long that flight is going to be. All right, how long that flight is. And it's really interesting because, it's a very easy way of knowing how long a flight is. So that can be helpful to you guys too. So I think that's all because I'm gonna be doing this again in Spanish now. So if you guys want to hop over to the Mucho Hop in Espanol, you can. Do you guys have any questions for me or any doubts about anything? Flight Radar 24 is good too. Okay, I got to check that one out. But it's so important because sometimes what I like about Seat Guru is that it tells you, let's say, this is a very busy seat because it's by the bathrooms and you won't be able to sleep. That kind of thing. I mean, it is really cool how they do that. I love it. I love it because you can check ahead of time. What the where your seat is located, if it's close to the galley, if it's close to the bathrooms, if it's a very busy throughway. So yeah, that I love Seat Guru. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about anything? And I saw that you guys like longer videos. I'm glad about that because sometimes, it's a very long flight or I have to make several connections and I'm always doubting whether to cut it up into two videos, two flights, two videos, or have everything on the same video and not cut it up. So, thank you. Thank you. It's really good. I love the communication we have. I wish I had more time to address all the comments. I do read them, by the way. I read every single comment, everything, because the support you guys give me is amazing. You make me very happy. And also, I see what you are worried about. I see what your concerns are, and then I could do videos addressing these questions that you all have. So thank you. I do read the comments. I definitely do read the comments. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. Looking forward to another live chat. Yay, I want to do another live chat. My great to come here. I am from Macau. Macau. Where's Macau? Where is that? I want to go there. Where is that? Tell me, Lawrence, Lou, tell me where Macau is. I love streams. Seems so much more personal. Please do more. I'm going to try and do more because I want to connect with you guys. And there's certain things that I just can't tell you when I do a video. I notice that myself. Sometimes I look back, I'm editing, and I say, why didn't I say this? Or why didn't I say that? Because I'm busy. I am going to the gate and I am trying to catch a flight. So I can't always stop and explain things, And, but I think live streams are a good opportunity to address all these things that I normally don't have time to address. Near Hong Kong. Oh, the same situation. Okay. Near Hong Kong, the same situation. I really hope things work out in Hong Kong too, because I don't want to, but I hope things work out there. You see things on the news and it's sad that these things are happening. But I don't want to get into that. There's so much going on in the world and just, it's an island near Hong Kong. Okay. Okay, that's, it's wonder. See how you guys teach me. Now I'm going to be looking on the Google Maps and see how long the flight is. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. Lawrence, Alexander, for explaining everything. Noah B. Wall for being my backup. So I'm going to sign off now if you don't have any questions. And like I said, I always read the comments, so just leave anything there. And I will try and do more live streams. Wikipedia was my teacher. Yeah, it's my teacher too. You know, you don't always. Oh man, I hate when people think that just because you fly a lot, you know a lot. No, I mean I'm always looking things up, and I make mistakes, and things aren't always like. Sometimes my memory fails, So we always have to look things up, especially nowadays that everything is like so fast paced and things change so much. And in the old days, you just had any old suitcase, you just go on the plane and that's it. Nowadays, there are different specifications for different airlines, and you really have to do your research. So, do your research. Thank you so much for watching my first live stream. I really felt comfortable with everybody, and I feel at ease. Thank you for making it easy for me. And okay, so I'll see you guys in the next live stream, in the next video. And I have a lot of good videos for you coming up because, like I said, I haven't had a chance to edit, but I have all the Bangkok videos. I loved Bangkok. I loved it. And I'll be showing you all that and then other things and Singapore and when I broke my shoulder and because I was filming that day. So it's going to be interesting to see all that. I hope anyway. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Bye. Bye, hoppers. I can't wait. Thank you.